Welcome to the lesson on proportions. In this lesson, we will discuss how to use proportions in order to find unknown quantities in similar situations. By definition, a proportion is a set of ratios equal to each other. If I look at it, I have 1/2 equals 4/8. 1/2 equals 4/8. By ratios, I can look at 1 to 2 is the same as saying 4 to 8. Now I can use this to find missing quantities. I could say 2/3 equals x over 15, and I can go ahead and solve for that x. I do so by a process called cross multiplying, which means if I have a over b and it's equal to c over d, I can go ahead and multiply it and make that x to say that d times a would be the same as b times c, as shown here. A times d equals b times c. Now, let's think about a scenario where I can buy something that would be 2 for $3 and I have $15. How many would I be able to buy? So let's think about the process and how we can incorporate cross multiplication. So let's say those are avocados. I can buy 2 avocados for $3, so 2 over 3. I'd make that equal to the x avocados that I might be able to buy with $15. So let's go ahead and solve. Well, 2 over 3 for 2 avocados for $3 equals x, the unknown quantity that I'll be able to buy, over 15. So when I cross multiply, I'll take that 15 and I'll multiply it by the 2. 2 times 15 gives me 30. I'll take the 3 multiplied in the x, which will give me 3x. And when I divide both sides by 3, I'll achieve an x equals 10. So with $15, I'll be able to buy 10 avocados. That would be the missing quantity that I cross-multiplied to solve. Thinking about the word proportional, we mean when two ratios are equal. So when things are proportional, their relationships will be the same and their ratios are equal. That allows us to solve problems. For example, on one trip you traveled 1,000 miles in 14.5 hours. How long will a 650-mile trip take you? So 1,000 over the 14.5 hours it took me for that trip will then be equal to the new trip, 650 miles, over the x hours it'll take me to make that trip. So now I cross multiply with these big numbers. 1,000 times the x will give me 1,000x, and 14.5 times 650 will give me 9,425. Now dividing both sides by x will then equal 9.42 hours. So almost about 9.5 hours. Another example, a recipe that makes 25 cookies calls for 3 cups of flour. But you only have 2 cups. How many cookies are you going to be able to make? So 25 cookies is in the ratio with the 3 cups. X, the cookies, I don't know how many I'm going to make, over 2, the amount of flour I have. So 2 times 25 gives me 50. The 3 times the x gives me 3x. I'll divide both sides by 3 and I'll get x equals 16.6. So I'm going to have about 16, 17 cookies I'll be able to make with that flour. Now, Mark can decorate 2 cakes every 45 minutes. How many can he decorate in 8 hours? So now I have to think about my units first. Well, 45 minutes is not an hour, so I have to think 45 minutes, I can change that to 0.75 hours. Now I can set up to cross multiply. 2 cakes over 0.75 hours, it takes him to do it, will be equal to x cakes over 8 hours that he has. The 2 times 8 will give me 16. 0.75 times x will give me 0.75x. Divide both sides by 0.75. And x gives me 21.3. So 21.3 cakes he'll be able to make in an 8-hour time span. Proportions are incredibly important when it comes to thinking about related rates, when it comes to thinking about production, and when it comes to thinking about money and comparing money and time, other important scenarios.